Good afternoon, folks. My name is Colby Evans, and welcome to episode 2 of the Start&Park podcast, where we cover Arca news, but also cover NASCAR news and daily Start&Park details that happen in today's world of motorsports. As I said before, welcome to episode 2. We'll be going over mainly Arca news today, but we do have some NASCAR news in general that I'm sure you all enjoy. Starting off first, we have an Arca doubleheader this week at 2 different tracks in just 2 days. And we all know how bad Arca is doing right now, but those poor guys are trying their best with what little payouts they get. But a very surprisingly solid entry list for this weekend. For Bristol, we have 27 entries. Now, this is a combination race, but there's not many East teams in general. But I'm not shocked at why we have such a big field. This is the first time that Arca has been to Bristol, I believe, since 1969. And I'm looking at the entry list right here on my computer. Some notable entries. Dave Mader, our favorite guy, Dave Mader, returns. I'm really happy to see that team up again with Jeff Spraker and Paris Wixon as the owners. They haven't had the best luck, even though Dave is a great race car driver. Even, I believe, he's in his 60s or 70s now. Justin S. Carroll's back. Jason Kitzmiller is back since Dover. Max Gutierrez in a new start. Haven't really heard of him, so wish him the best of luck. As always, you got the stragglers for Arca. Got the Peterson gang. Con Nicolopoulos is driving the 06 this weekend. No Tim Richmond, sadly. Chris Wright is in the 12 this weekend for Andy Hillenberg, but that is a GMS Chad Bryant partnership, where Chris will be driving a GMS car under Chad Bryant Racing, but racing for Andy Hillenberg. So it's really complicated like that. My favorite Arca car, the original Gourmet Lollipop car driven by Derek Griffith, will be back. And we have 2 25 cars, the 25 and the 25E of Michael Self and Mason Diaz. So like I said, a very solid field, 27 cars, but we will have 4 Start&Parks from my understanding. The 0 of good old Wayne, Brad Smith, Con, Owen Smith, and Mike Basham. So actually, looks like 5 Start&Parks, which in general, that's about what usually Arca brings in. Payouts range of about $1,400 for last place and about $7,000 to win, which is crap. I mean, let's face it, it's crap. Winchester is another story. Now, again, this is at a completely different racetrack, not that far away, but still at a different racetrack. And this is Arca only, where we have the new lowest record for Arca fields at just 13 entries, which includes 4 Start&Parks. Yep, 4 Start&Parks in a 13-car race, so you will have only 9 cars running at the finish of this race. But there's a big storyline going into this weekend, and you guys have to follow it with me. There's only 13 entered. Brad Smith, if he can just outlast the 2 Peterson entries and Owen Smith, he will finally get that top 10 finish that we've all wanted. We love you, Brad. We love you. But yeah, so good to see Wayne back. Hopefully he runs more than at least 1 lap. Con is back again at Winchester. Hate to see Tim because he was sitting 11th in points. Owen Smith, again, a great guy. Ed Pompa, that'll be a full race entry. And, of course, the 12 is the main full race entry for Andy Hillenberg's team. Brent Holmes currently leads the points. And I think we can all agree, even though I am wearing a Venerini shirt, it'd be pretty cool to see. Sorry, my dog was down there. It'd be pretty cool to see the low-budget team of Brent Holmes take down the big guys at Venerini and David Gilliland. Oh, boy. Still sad, though. You know, we all love Arca. It's easy to say, but 13 cars, 4 Start&Parks, 9 cars running at the end. I got to agree with everybody saying, what really is Haley Deegan learning? I think she'll run the Arca race at Daytona next year at least, just to get more experience for the race. But looks like her truck rumors, wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, so that was kind of the Arca fields this weekend. We have more Arca news, though. Chad Bryant Racing, the former Cunningham Motorsports. Their plan for the rest of the year, credit from William Soket. Probably butchered that name real bad. Sorry, buddy. But he's a reporter for NASCAR, Brockbeard, on the Arca side. Does a great job. Check him out. But he announced that Chris Wright will be in the 22 car. Again, this is a GMS-supported effort where they run a Chevrolet, and it's a GMS entry, but under Chad Bryant Racing. Chris Wright was supposed to be in the 22 for Bristol, but he'll be in the 12. Just mentioned that. He'll be in there for Memphis, Kansas, and Phoenix, which is a West race, but it's still the last race of the season, so you might as well enter it. Derek Griffith will drive a second Chad Bryant entry racing, number yet to be announced, more than likely the 2 car, this weekend at Bristol, Memphis, and the Arca main finale at Kansas in October. It's sad to see what's happened to Chad Bryant Racing ever since they lost Joe Graff Jr. with his Eat, Sleep, Race money, and then Big Time in general. Poor Chad Bryant's trying his best to hang on, but the payouts are just enough. It's a shame because he's got the best-looking Arca car in the field. I think everybody can agree with me that the original Gourmet Lollipop car is the best damn car in the field, and Lionel Racing is just too stupid not to make it. I think we would all buy that Lollipop car just for the hell of it. More Arca news. Gus Dean. I haven't seen much of Gus Dean, but he will return this weekend with Wintron Racing at Bristol with his Mash On It sponsorship. Again, I'm terrible at names. He will return at Bristol this weekend and Memphis for the rest of 2020. Unclear what other races Wintron has planned, but good to see Gus back. He had a terrible season. I mean, let's face it was a terrible season for him and Young's Motorsports. And just in general, Young's Motorsports at 3 trucks, you're just spreading your resources too thin. And which sucks, because I love that team. Randy Young is a great guy. I met him at Iowa. Good guy. Howie DiSavino, going on of Wintron. Howie DiSavino was supposed to run some truck races and more Arca races, but after Iowa, they withdrew from Kansas, and we haven't seen Howie since. Which sucks, but again, it's probably just due to COVID with sponsorship issues. And Wintron, I mean, let's face it, they're really currently on life support as Wintron Racing is actually sharing a shop right now with AM Racing, Austin Wayne Sells' team, and Jordan Anderson Racing. They're all under one roof. So, I hope we can see Wintron continue in 2021, but the likelihood of just running part-time in Arca, you're just not making enough money to continue. I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope we see him at Kansas, because Gus does a really good job on the 1.5 miles. And again, like I was just talking about, Arca West leader Jesse Love. Good kid, 15 years old. I'm 19. That makes me feel old. But he will make his debut in the main... Well, I just butchered that. He will make his debut for Venerini Motorsports and his 4th start in the main Arca Series, driving at Winchester in the number 20 JBL Audio Toyota. Currently drives the 19 for Bill McAnally on the west side and leads the point standings, which is impressive, but also not really at the same time as there's only 10 full-time cars in the series. But yeah, it marks Love's debut for the team and 4th national start of the season. Again, when you look at his main starts, his combination starts, they haven't really been all that impressive. I don't know if that just says McAnally, but to me, he seems like a good kid. I met him at Iowa. He was right next to Brad's trailer, so I got to meet a lot of the BMR guys. They worked really hard that day, but I just don't... Again, though, I'm not one to judge talent. I wish him nothing but the best, though, and if he can win in his debut for Venerini, might lead him to a full-time gig. So that's pretty much wraps up the Arca news. Going to Arca point standings. This is not the Start&Park points. This is just the main points in general. Going to the Menards Series points. Right now, like I said, Brett Holmes leads. We have just 4 full-time cars. And then, Brad Smith skipped Phoenix, so technically he's not full-time. Brett Holmes, Michael Self, Haley Deegan, Drew Dollar. The championship is just between the top 2. The rest of the top 10, Thad Moffatt, who has not been seen in 3 races, still sits 5th, Our boy Brad Smith, 6th in points. Woohoo! 6th in points. Hell yeah, baby. Ty Gibbs sits 7th in points. Sam Mayer sits 8th. Chandler Smith sits 9th. And good old Mike Basham sits 10th in points. Now again, it's all about bonuses. Brad was 8th in points, but because of his bonuses he's gotten throughout the season, he's now back up to 6th in points. However, he is only 11 points above Ty Gibbs and 18 points above Sam Mayer. So the likelihood is Brad will drop back to 8th, but hey, passion, the love of still going. Brad gets a top 10 spot in the driver's point standing every year. It's just happy to see. Taylor Gray sits 11th. Tim Richmond sits 12th. Ryan Huff 13th. Derek Griffith 14th. And Tanner Gray runs up the top 15. But again, those are all part-time guys who haven't ran every race. If we want, just for the hell of it, let's get into the East and West standings, which is just sad at this point. Now, the East Series has not held their own race. I want to say Toledo was their actual East-only race. Sam Mayer's leading the point standings with Ty Gibbs in 2nd. Parker Retzlaff is in 3rd. Nick Sanchez is in 4th. Chase Cabry's in 5th. Mason Diaz is in 6th. And the last full-time car in the East Series, Justin Carroll, is 7th. Then going over to the Arca West points, where only 25 drivers have started a race, which is just, I love Arca. It's just sad. It really is. Like I said, Jesse Love first, Blaine Perkins is 2nd, Gracie Trotter, who is, in my opinion, way more talented than Haley Deegan. Just my opinion. I think Gracie Trotter, if she just had more back end from Ineos Motor Oil, I think she could be a lot more. And I really would like to see her make a truck start next year for McAnally. Gio Seltzy, 5th. Good old Todd Susan, 6th. Holly Holland, who, oh boy, in 7th. Takuma Koga, one of my favorite drivers, in 8th. And the Wayne Peterson and Brad Smith of the West Series, Bobby Hillis Jr. in 7th. And then Jack Wood, 6th, but he is not a full-time driver. He's only ran 5 of the 7 races. And Jesse Love has a 7-point lead over Blaine Perkins, but you're not going to beat McAnally. All right, so moving away from Arca, there was a lot of talk that Richmond race sucked. What do you guys call racing? That was good racing. The finish was a little underwhelming? Yes. But did we have good side-by-side racing? Yes. Did we actually have a pass for the lead? Yes. Were there no cautions, though? Yes. Was that due to the tires? Probably. But I don't know what you guys want. If you guys want to see a bunch of wrecks, there's a demolition derby in all of your local hometowns. Go watch that. The people who said that this race sucked were the people who said that the Kentucky race was good. Finishes don't make a good race. A good race is good side-by-side racing, good pit strategy, and all-along solid passes and racing. And what did you guys want? Did you guys want the 550 package? It would have been even worse. But in my opinion, in general, Richmond is the worst short track on the circuit for the Cup Series. Would it really hurt them to take out one Richmond race and go to Iowa? It's almost the same track, and you'd get better racing and probably a better crowd. Just my opinion. Moving on to a semi-controversial statement here. Mike Wallace. He has been suspended. Obviously, it's been well known that he's been suspended over comments. And then he decided to run his mouth again. I have his statement up here, and I'm going to try to read this as safely as possible. So this is what Mike Wallace has to say, and again, I'm going to try to keep this as clean as possible. I am a lot confused. This is okay for Bubba Wallace to say, but others can't make viewpoints. He can, free speech is, there's still a limit to free speech, Mike. Let me spell out the bottom line because his post was a little off-center in the paper. These are Bubba's, at Bubba Wallace. A few moments ago, words not mine, I'm just writing them that you can see them. Wow. Grammar is really bad. And I thought I had bad grammar. Bubba's word now I'm overhearing about politics out of NASCAR. Alright, well, I'm just going to kind of skim through it. The ones who want politics out of NASCAR are the same ones cheering the Trump car. Yeah, we've heard that. Sounds like to me, and Bub also put bunch of damn clowns, which he has every right to say. I'll admit, I can be a clown too. I love being a clown. Dressed up for one when I was 5. Sounds to me that fits a section of NASCAR members' actions that could result in a fine, suspension, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know how to respond to that, you know. Everybody's got free speech. Everybody is allowed to say what they want. But sometimes everything in our heads should not be put on social media. That's simple. We are entitled to free speech, but there is still a limit on free speech. And well, Mike has had it coming. This is not the first time he has said stuff like this. If you've been on his Facebook over the years, especially during the first round of politics back in 16, it was even worse. But let's just wanted to quickly bring that up and say, Mike, shut up. Alright, so now more into the NASCAR side of news. Bubba Wallace, kind of behind on this, I'm one of the last ones. Leaving RPM, hopefully they pick up Landon Castle. Kyle Larson is a rumored top candidate for the 48. Perfect. Suarez and the Gone brothers part ways. Likelihood is that Gone brothers will go back to part-time with Parker Kligerman. My opinion. I hope that's what happens, but we could see Denny Hamlin buy into that team, give it some more financial support, and it could be just like Levine, where it could be more of a 15th to 20th place car instead of being a 28th place car like what the Gone brothers car is. Daniel Suarez is the likely candidate to go to the 43. I don't see how that happening because RPM has stated multiple times that they are not going to Toyota. So I don't see how that could happen. Suarez in the 43. Again, there's just more deserving drivers. Landon Castle. But, oh God, it's cough. But, you know, Suarez has got the money, but I just don't see how it's happening since Toyota wants Suarez, but Petty won't switch to Toyota. Other news, after running as... People were a little confused when it was announced that Sam Mayer would go back to JRM. Sam Mayer was really good in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s late model program. He won quite a few races and contended for a couple of championships in the super late model circuit. Or, I don't know, there's so many damn late model circuits, I forget which one. But he will go back to Junior for part-time racing in 2021, mainly because he's not old enough to run other tracks yet. And full-time in 2022, because by then he will be 18. I'm happy. You know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. didn't have a truck team, so there really was nowhere else for Sam to go. GMS was a perfect fit. Murray Gallagher. Jesus, I keep butchering all these names. Murray Gallagher's got a great team. I'm sure they're going to miss Sam, but I think Sam's going to do wonders in that car. You know, we all saw what Zane Smith did in that car, and he did okay. And I think Sam's going to do a good job as well, and I wish them nothing but the best of luck. The only problem I see, Sam doesn't have much sponsorship, so I wonder if he's been able to find a sponsor, or if they're just going on based on talent, which is good. It's better to go based on talent than based on money. Brett Moffatt. Boy, Brett Moffatt, you know, he's a guy that I've always been pushing for a long time. And even though I've been talking about it all season, he got a lot of well-deserved TV time at Richmond, running top 10 all night in that 02 Hour Motorsports car. That 02 team is the old GMS racing team, which explains why their cars are in actually good shape. They're a year or two old, yes, but they're still good engines and they're still good cars, and you got a great driver behind the wheel. The only thing that hurts is just Not seeing any sponsorship on the car. All you see is Robert B. Auer Incorporation on the hood. That's not really a sponsor. That's just Robert B. Auer putting his name on the car because he can. Moffatt to the 48. Rumors? Hell yeah. You want a guy who deserves that car more than anyone else on the circuit? There's your guy. Rick Hendrick, listen, Moffatt is the guy. It's that simple. The only real memorable thing of the truck race from Richmond, Timmy Hill. I think we can all agree, and that's what I posted on my account. If Timmy Hill had taken tires on that last stop, he would have finished top 5. Easily. On old tires, he still drove from 14th to 9th. He finished ahead of all 3 KBM trucks. And probably a 2 or 3 year old chassis. Timmy Hill's one of the GOATs. Mark my words. So here's a situation that I've kind of been the only one that follows, and it was kind of introduced to me about a year or 2 ago. There is an owner's point bonus for full-time people in said series. One of my buddies at the race team that I volunteer with pointed this out to me. And right now, the Cup Series, I don't know if they have one or not, but I'm not really going to follow that one. We're just going to look at the Xfinity and Truck and Arca ones. In Xfinity right now, your bubble sits like this. Just the camera a little bit. This have to hold the camera, I guess. JD Motorsports' 15 car sits 29th. The 13 of MBM Motorsports sits 30th on the bubble. 10 points behind him for the bonus is the 74 of Mike Harmon Racing. The 47 still appears to be too far behind, even though we're still got 8 races to go. So it's going to be a tough battle. The good part is you got 2 great drivers in that 13 and 74 cars. Timmy Hill and Bailey Curry. Great drivers. But it's kind of torn. You know, I love both these guys, but I'm just going to turn for 13. And then you look at the truck owners' points, which is weird, though. I don't know if it's the top 30 in trucks, because looking at the truck points, there's actually only 27 full-time trucks that have attempted every race. Last place being Jennifer Jo Cobb. So I'm interested to see how that works. Now, I was told by Brad Smith that it's actually the top 20 in Arca, not the top 30, mainly because they can barely get 30 cars. But looking at the top 20 right now for Arca end-of-the-year bonuses, your top 20 sits as this. First place, Coy Gibbs. Second place, Stacy Holmes. Third place, Venerini. Fourth place, Venerini. Fifth place, Gilliland. Sixth place, Venerini. Seventh place, Gilliland. Eighth is Michelle Hillenberg, Andy Hillenberg, 12 car. Ninth and 10th are Andy Hillenberg. 11th is Wayne Peterson. 12th is Murray Gallagher. 13th is Chad Bryant. 14th is Bo Lamastis, David Yelland. 15th is our boy Brad. 16th is Bill Kimmel. 17th is Cody Robar. 18th is John Core. 19th is Shigi Hattori. And 20th is Kevin Sawinski. Again, though, only 15 of those cars are actually full-time. And right now, the top 10 owners that usually would get to go to the banquet, well, it's actually pretty close right now. 10th place is Andy Hillenberg, and 11th place is Wayne Peterson, and they are separated by 2 points. But they will both be starting parking both races, so I think Wayne will probably be looking at, I just beat the 11. It's kind of all the news I got today, folks. Not much in the news. Obviously, I'm behind all the other YouTubers. They get all their crap out faster than me because I'm so busy. I already told you guys to start in parks for Arca. As always, follow that races. Should be a good race. No starting parks in the truck series. CMI Motorsports did withdraw both of their entries, sadly, because of what happened at Richmond. So we got 36 trucks, all running the full race. Good to see. 36 Xfinity cars with 1 start and park. I think y'all can guess who it is. And, of course, full field of 40 cars for Cup. Even though I'm a Start&Park fan, I still got to give my picks because that's what everybody else does. Pick to win the Cup race, my boy Brad is my guy. Second place guy, Martin Truex. Xfinity guy, Allgaier, always. Truck guy, Moffatt, always. Arca, well, I want to say Derek Griffith, but I think we all know a Toyota is going to win, so if it comes down to the Toyota guys, if it comes down to a Toyota race for the win, hopefully, Chandler Smith can get it done, because I like Chandler. But yeah, not much in the news today. Kind of went over everything. Arca. And also announcing that this podcast in the future will be focusing more on Arca news. Because, like I said, you got the experts over on the other side covering NASCAR. So I'm going to cover more Arca because although it's a dying breed, me and a lot of other guys still follow it very heavily. And we love it. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the second episode of the Start&Park Racing Podcast. Enjoy Bristol, and I will catch you guys next Wednesday. See ya.